Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. What if I told you two households earning the same income, having the same savings habits and contributing to their savings for the exact same number of years could retire with a $2 million difference between their portfolios? Not because one got lucky, not because one earned more, but simply because they saved differently at different times. This isn't just a math lesson, it's a reality check on how powerful timing is when it comes to wealth building. And here's what no one tells you. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to understand how compounding works and make it work for you, not against you. Today, I'm going to walk you through three different households. One that ramps up their savings rate over time, one that starts out with a really strong savings rate and then decreases their savings rate over time, and then one that might be perhaps more reflective of real life, where they have a messy middle and they have to reduce their savings rate mid-career, and then they finish strong. They all have the exact same income, they contribute to their savings the exact same number of years, but there are totally different outcomes. So let's dive in. Let's ground this in real numbers. According to the US Census, here's the median household income by age of the head of the household in 2023. For those under 25, household income is around $55,000 a year. It tends to have a steady increase through ages 45 to 54, peaking around $111,000 a year. Then, as individuals head towards retirement and enter into retirement, we see median household income decline. For those 65 and older, it again returns to about $55,000 a year. For this video, we're focusing on the core working and investing years, ages 25 through 64, and we'll assume retirement begins at age 65. You might be wondering why I'm using median household income instead of individual earnings, and it's because when we look at a household, there's often two working adults, and this can give us a more clear picture of a financial reality for a household. Households often reflect shared resources, and most retirement budgets are built around combined budgets. So if you're part of a household, if you have dual incomes, this is really what you want to look at. You want to look at everyone's income within the household. Individual incomes really tell us a great deal about personal earning power, but it's really the household income that tells us about long-term wealth building and retirement funding. To keep things clean and focused, here's what stays the same across all three examples. Each household earns the median income for their age group. They each save a fixed percentage of their income every single year. They all capture the same rate of return. In our examples, we're going to use an 8% rate of return. We're not going to factor in early withdrawals or taxes or any messy variables like that. And they all save for the exact same number of years, 40 years, starting at the age of 25, going all the way to the age of 65, at which point they retire. The only thing that changes is when they save a different percentage of their income. And as you'll see, this can make all the difference in the world. First, let's consider a more traditional path, one where you ramp up your savings rate over time. This is what a lot of people do. Maybe when you start out, you save a small percentage of your income, and then as your working years increase, you increase your savings rate over time. Here's what that looks like when you combine real median income with a gradually increasing savings rate. This household ramps up their savings gradually, starting with a 5% savings rate in their first decade and ending with a 25% savings rate right before they go into retirement. And even with a modest increase in savings over time, they still retire with over $2.2 million in investments. This might be a very typical path. As your income increases over time, you get a little more breathing room in your budget to ramp up that savings rate. Maybe you get those student loans paid off. Maybe the cost of daycare drops off. Maybe your mortgage stabilizes as your income increases. This can feel natural. This can feel smart to increase your savings over time. If you're in your 20s or 30s, saving a big chunk of your income can really feel impossible, especially if you're in a high cost of living area where rent is high, groceries, as we all know, are fairly brutal. So if you're just starting out and you're earning the median income, saving 15 or 20% of your income can really feel out of reach. You may feel like I've already cut everything I can, and that's a fair point. Saving early can be tough, even small amounts, and that's why often this slow ramp up approach is so common because it feels like it's the right thing to do to save more as your income increases. But here's the catch. Saving more later means missing out on the most valuable resource, time. Dollars invested at 25 have 40 years to grow. Those invested at 55 have maybe 10, and that's a huge difference. But if you look at this example, we still build a very strong portfolio, and it reminds us of one key truth, that starting early, even with small amounts, is way better than starting late with large amounts most of the time. The next example is front-loading our savings, saving big early and then coasting a little bit later. Now this household flips the strategy on its head. Instead of waiting until their 40s or 50s to get really serious about savings, they go really hard in their 20s and then sort of ease up over time. Let's take a look at what happens when you save aggressively in your early years and then gradually ease off as life gets more expensive. This household saves for the exact same number of years as the first example. Same income, same effort, just in reverse. They start saving 25% of their income in their 20s, then gradually taper that rate throughout their working career, ending at just 5% before retiring. The result? Over $4.3 million, nearly double what we saw in the traditional path. Why? Because compounding has had more of the time to do the heavy lifting. Yes, this approach really can feel counterintuitive. Start off by saving 25% of your income at 25 and then taper off your savings rate as your income increases over time. It's not what most people are taught, but I still love this approach. In your 20s, most people typically don't have a mortgage or kids or any major obligations. Sacrifices are just easier. You can skip the fancy apartment, you can drive an old car, you can say no to the extras, and it doesn't really feel like a big loss. What makes this approach so powerful is you build a really strong financial cushion early on, and then you're able to ease off without falling behind. You're still saving and growing wealth, but you don't have to grind at a high savings rate while juggling a mortgage, childcare, or aging parents. Instead, you get to enjoy life a little bit more. Maybe you take nicer vacations, or you drive a nicer car. Maybe you just enjoy more breathing room in your budget. And that portfolio, just look at it. $4.3 million built through early effort, not lifelong restriction. This is really the power of starting strong and giving your portfolio what it needs most, time. And finally, maybe a more realistic middle, the balance saver. This path may truly be the most relatable of all. This is where you start off strong in your 20s and then your savings rate takes a dip midlife in your 40s because, let's be honest, sometimes life just gets expensive, and then ramps up again in your 50s before you head into retirement. Here's what this realistic savings pattern might look like. Same income trajectory, same total year savings, just adjusted for real life stages. This household starts strong, hits a dip in the middle, and then ramps back up at the finish line. Even with 10 years of saving, just 10%, and another 10 years of saving, 5%, mid-career, they still retire with over $3.3 million invested. Maybe the first example is the textbook version, the version we're kind of taught to aim for. Maybe the second version is a little bit more counterintuitive, a little bit more aggressive. But maybe this one is the most relatable of all. You save meaningfully in your 20s and early 30s, but then life happens. Maybe you stretch to buy your first home, you start raising kids, daycare, clothes, food, activities. It all adds up. Maybe you're helping them save for college, or you're simply time-starved in a demanding job. So for a full 20 years, during your peak earning years, your savings rate drops to 10% and then to 5%, and you still build a $3.3 million portfolio. That is not just solid, that is a win. And it's because you don't give up and you just adjust and keep moving forward. So maybe this is the Goldilocks approach. It's not perfect and it's not extreme, but this is the one that gets you to a strong retirement on your terms, and it accounts for real life messiness in the middle. There is no one right way to save. Your income is going to change throughout the course of your life. Your savings rate is going to change. Life happens and your plans need to shift. But if you stay the course, if you keep investing, even when it's hard, you can still build a strong portfolio. When you save matters, starting early gives you a huge edge, but most of all, if you stay in the game, you win every time. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to max out your accounts every single year. You just need to start and not quit. The truth is, most people overestimate what they can accomplish with their investments in 1 year, but they underestimate what they can accomplish in a few decades' time. So at the end of the day, wherever you are, get started and stay consistent. What are your thoughts on these approaches? Do you have one that resonates more with you, or maybe you'd care to share how your savings rate has changed throughout the course of your life? Leave your thoughts in a comment down below. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye. Of the same income, but I need to turn off my AC. I am freezing. Who's making noise? Someone's making noise. Don't like it. I don't like it. It's breaking my heart. What temperature do you use for your household? Because 72 is about where I feel comfortable. Otherwise, I'm freezing. So cold. Except when I'm sleeping. 68. Building, and I don't know. Your income increases. I don't know what I wanted to say. Go to the extras. I don't know what I want to say.